Hello, I am Nindy at nindyscreativecorner.com and welcome to my digital studio lesson 2. Today we will talk about text, rotating text and objects, the alignment of text and objects, and opacity. Let's get started. First, I'll show you how to get a text box. There's a T up here. You can click it once and get a text box. You can also go to the text section over in the Design Center and click that box. They both work the exact same. Resize your text box by moving any of the little boxes. To choose your text font, the fonts come from whatever fonts are already on your computer. So use your favorite fonts. You change your font size here, and you can also do bold, underline, and italicize your text. Just type as you always do. If you happen to make a mistake, just click by the letter. You can either delete or backspace, retype the correct letters, and there you go. You do have to click the style buttons, the bold, underline, and italicize, to get them to do that. You can change the fonts after you have typed them, change the size. If you're like me, you like lots of color, and so you can change your text color just like you do any other. And if you want one word different than the rest, a different color, just highlight it. And then you can have two different colors in your text. Pretty easy. You can also rotate text and objects the same way. Okay, my favorite way is just rotate it with the little circular arrow at the corner. Although I generally like it going the other way, so we will switch it. You can also rotate it here. You can type in the angle you want. My favorite is -45. That will get you a direct 45 angle degree this way. Anyway, when you want it back to 0, just do 0 in the little box and press enter. You have to press enter or it doesn't work. To align your text, well, let's get it ski-wompy first. You can align it here or up here on the range. You'll get the same choices either way. You can center vertically on the page. You can center horizontally on the page. Those are the two I use most frequently for text and usually papers. Let's make a card and test out some other options. I will delete this. We'll choose our background paper. And I want Autumn Traditions. So select Open. I want to add as a page layer, so I will click the little box. Go to pattern number 6. We will crop it to get it the size we want. We want it 4 inches high and 5.25 inches wide. Now if you want a specific point in your pattern, you can just move the box until you get it where you want, because some patterns you want a specific point. And you'll move it up like this. Center vertically, center horizontally. Now you'll notice this gray area. This is my bleed area. If I'm doing just a digital project, I don't want to see that because it, anyway, I don't like to see that. So I get rid of it. Now let's go up to textured cardstock. Remove the Add as Page layer check. Now another thing you can do with your papers is play with the opacity. It will just change the look, so that's something you can play with depending on the project. Now we are going to add an embellishment, which is a piece of cake. Piece of cake, there we go. And the one I want is at the very bottom. So I'm going to use a label. Now, as I try to resize this, it will cause it to pixelate when printed. But since I'm not printing it, I click OK and do it again. And I'll have to click OK again. But it does warn me. Now if we want, we can also center this vertically and center it horizontally. This color looks okay, but I want to recolor it. And you can change the colors around however many times you want, but we're just going to go right with Always Artichoke tonight. Oh, should save. So, come up to my little text box. You notice when I click here, it automatically opens the text section there. I'll resize this. I used a digital card as a birthday card for my son. So I'll just do the same thing here. Let's enlarge the size at least a little bit. Okay, I did eventually choose a different font, so I'm just going to show you how to do that after you have already started it in a project. Just you have to make sure and select it, then go to the font you want, do the size you want. I never can remember what size I did it. Okay, I guess 40 is good. Now it looks okay, black, but I like color. So we are going to change the color. And remember, you can change it as many times as you want. You will use Handsome Hunter. Click off to the side. Make sure that's what we want. Now let's embellish it some. I want some corduroy buttons. I figure corduroy is a guy. Now you can click and drag. See, look how big this is. The one advantage of digital embellishments is you can change their size. And we want to rotate it a little bit. Now, since I have changed this and put it at an angle and I want to duplicate it, I can do cut. I don't want to cut it. I can do copy and paste. Those are two of my favorite things to do. So Control C, or if you're on a Mac, Apple C, but it will tell you on this drop down screen. So we will copy, and then we want to do it again, so I did the Control V, move it to where I want it. Now I will do Control V again, and it will pop up here. Move it down here. I want the buttonholes to go a different angle though. Where are the little, here's the little gray box. Move it till I get the little swirly. Not quite the angle I wanted. now. So I will just copy that with Control C to Control V to get another one and move it up to this. So we will finish up and do our drop shadows. For text, I usually just leave the drop shadow the way it is, but to activate the drop shadow, you must press OK. Now we'll go to an embellishment and do the drop shadow for those. I usually do 75% opacity for embellishments and papers. Do on this page because we have multiples. And click OK. And then we also want to do it for our paper. So the photo drops down. It counts paper as the photos. Not quite sure why, but that's just the way it is. So opacity to 75%, blur to medium. Out of habit, I always just do on this page so I don't forget anything. Okay, there we go. We now have a nice card ready to email to someone. I'll show you what we need to do to email things and a couple other things. To check your project, we can check our spelling, which is really important before you print. Check for errors. I wish I remembered the errors I used to make because I used to get error notices all the time. And then, this is a fun thing that they've added with My Digital Studio 2. This is apply list. So page 1 is Whisper White and just text. Page 2, it gives all the supplies I used, and page 4, the supplies that were used. This is nice when I post these on my blog, then I can not have to remember. Okay, we will share this project. You can either print it on your home computer, or if you're going to email it, you can either choose a JPEG, which I usually do, or a PDF file, which if the person has Adobe Reader on their computer, you can read it. I have saved this several times before while practicing, so yes, I will replace the contents. I want to change the size to medium because it will load faster when you are emailing. I usually, when I email, it starts out at 100%, but I usually do 80%. There's no visible difference between the two when you're emailing. Then click Finish. Something else I usually do when I am just going to email the project is I delete the extra pages. So I right click on this little box down here. At the bottom it says delete page. Yes, I'm sure I want to delete that one. Yes, I'm sure I want to delete this one. Just make sure you don't delete the one you really want to keep. If you're lucky, undo will work if you do that. But when you email, just remember where you saved your file, and then it will be listed twice, once without a file extension and one with either the JPG or the PDF extension. Choose one of those when you're emailing so that whoever you're emailing it to, so their computer can read it and they will be able to see your lovely card that you sent them. So I hope you've had fun learning more about text and some of the additional things you can do with My Digital Studio. Have fun playing with My Digital Studio and your digital stamping. Talk to you later. Bye.